That with the license restored, that we will now play our part in making sure that this country achieves the level of prosperity that is needed. There are just too many difficulties. Some people have died. Some have lost their jobs. Assets have been destroyed. Many things will not get back. But what we promise is that we will restore this country. We will restore our business, and we will make certain that our second time is even better than the first one. So, thank you. We built a bank from the very beginning, saying that we wanted to be the people's bank, to be everywhere, to serve the ordinary Ghanaian. So from the word go, we said we were going to build at least 300 branches and serve at least 1 million customers. And that we will be in where any major market is in this country. We built this network, which then became the focal point for economic development in many of the areas. Because now, if I know a specific man in Wale who sold building products. Before we got there, his business was small because he couldn't drive through all these bad roads to go and deliver supplies, go and collect cash. But with our system in place, anyone, whether they're in Sabova or wherever else, will go to a branch, deposit money into his account. Once he verifies it's sitting in Wale, he will then send the supplies to them, and his business was thriving. Collapsing a 300-branch financial entity is inimical to the economic interests of the country. We had thousands of employees. Those employees don't have jobs. And because of the banking sector problem that showed up, who is going to give a branch manager a job today? We consider that we built one of the first, people talk about interoperability. We did this, more than 6 years ago. And that system, it doesn't work now. When the new administration took over in 2017, it decided to freeze all contracts and said they were going to review them and reject whichever ones that they would reject. Well, they did the review. None of our projects was rejected. As a matter of fact, they gave even more contracts to a number of the contractors that we had pre-financed. But they would pay the new contracts and leave ours, right? We said, just give us 300 million Ghana cedis of contracts, work done and certified. And if they had done that, none of our companies would have suffered any challenges. They didn't.
I believe that the action of this government was a knee-jerk reaction to a situation that should have been faced with reasonableness, level head, and a calm disposition. Professor Soludo says that the ownership of capital matters, and that the ethnicity of capital is real, and that every country's financial and banking sector is part of its national security architecture. It's not the first time we've done a banking sector cleanup. Under FinSap, we had struggling banks, and we dealt with it, and the banks came out stronger after FinSap than before. I think we are speaking on the same wavelength. I know that there are some legal issues too outstanding, but it's something that we would be looking at before we come into office And if by the grace of the votes of the Ghanaian people and by the grace of God we do come into office, you can expect that you all get a sympathetic hearing, in trying to...
What will be your immediate reaction?
First, let the council say something. Well, so the Court of Appeal said the decision that the Bank of Ghana took to the license was wrong. And so they ordered the bank to reinstate the license. The receiver is now in charge of the bank and all its assets. The receiver was also ordered to hand over all the assets to the bank, to the bank. And the management also will return back to the bank immediately. And so we will take the necessary steps to get the judgment enforced.
What will be the next steps after this?
Well, the next steps is that we need to file into a judgment and proceed from there. So that we still the court processes to get the judgment. Well, it's been a difficult, very, very difficult 7 years. We want to thank family. We want to thank all of our employees. We've had some very, very, very loyal, hardworking employees who have stood with us all these years. And definitely, we give thanks to the Almighty for keeping us healthy enough to be where we are. Because this has been a very, very tough, very difficult time that we have gone through. It's just unimaginable. There's a lot to say, but not today. At an appropriate time, we will hold a press conference to go through what we have experienced and the difficulties moving forward. What I want to say also is that we are in a very good political environment. That environment has brought about a win.
It's important responsibility on us as African leaders. We must see health spending as an investment rather than just a social obligation, because a healthy population is indispensable to economic progress. As an advocate for African health sovereignty, I'm obliged to demonstrate this practically at home. And so in Ghana, we have moved beyond rhetoric to implement calculated, aggressive policies that place the citizen at the center of the clinical encounter. With one of the more successful national health insurance schemes in Africa, Ghana has an insurance coverage estimated at 66% as at the end of 2025. This still leaves about 34% of our population without coverage. Besides, the NHIS has been focused principally on curative care with very little attention to preventive care. To mop up the remaining population not covered by the NHIS, we have recently successfully begun implementing our free primary health care program. By removing financial barriers to the most basic and essential services at the rural level, we've ensured that our citizens in the remotest regions of our country also enjoy access to quality health care on par with their urban counterparts, with an eye on preventive care. And we're grateful that the WHO, led by Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, was among the first to congratulate us on achieving this significant milestone. Thank you, Tedros. We have revitalized our national health insurance scheme, the NHIS. By removing the cap on the health insurance fund, we immediately freed up an additional 3 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to $300 million for healthcare investment. We've also streamlined national health insurance scheme operations by eliminating bottlenecks, utilizing digital tools, including AI, to detect fraudulent claims, and most importantly, prioritizing prompt refunds to service providers. Because a health insurance scheme is only as strong as the trust between the state and the hospitals that provide the care. By ensuring our providers are paid on time, we ensure that our citizens are treated with dignity. We've also confronted the rising tide of non-communicable diseases by launching the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, also known as Mahama Cares. This fund is a lifeline for those suffering from non-communicable diseases, cardiovascular conditions, cancers, liver disease, and renal failures that were previously a death sentence for the poor. Mahama Cares is ensuring that specialized high-cost care is not a privilege for just a few, but is a right for all. Ghana, I'm also happy to report, is on track to exit Gavi funding for vaccines by the year 2030, and we hope to transition into a donor in the not too distant future. These domestic achievements are the foundation of my leadership of the Accra Research Initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, this Assembly is set to consider a proposal for joint process to reform the global health architecture. Ghana, having co-chaired the working group for the Lusaka agenda, welcomes this. But as a committed apostle of reform of the world health architecture, I'm concerned about whispers I have heard that the current draft resolution seeks to protect existing organizational mandates and prohibits the recommendation of mergers or consolidations. In Mali, the Dogon people warn that do not let the sight of those eating roasted maize force you to cook your maize seeds. If we launch a process of reform that is prohibited from recommending actual reform, we are merely performing a ritual. We cannot prioritize institutional comfort over human survival. The WHO's legitimacy is not served by protecting silos. It is served by a fearless analysis of what works. When I hosted Director General Tedros, President Obasanjo, and many others in Accra.
So mine be a year. I am no me, Yanshe dear, and near my bay, and a bema mine a conquer. And then you pay a 2 bay, you know. So can the Nin qua and a bit more mine ye. As I said, me no me and so, yeah, famudi. So over her famous quote to be a former president, another Danko Kuvado Kayana. I say be a citizen, not a spectator. A chair say, or mine, ya the champagne for Bimunsa. As I said, me no me no, Yansu Kayan who boom said the Baya. A mamono mubuno, Yansu bet me the Washimubi. In this who said near be Cobonea. Now watch your wadrin. Enkoya no waka, Ekoya na waka. Enunti, any doing you may say, Yansu betana, or Masemtvgh so. Jumedi any friend beyond the headlines. And some now about to joining now, ya domosuko. Your room near Dinkomo, near fat. A total row 4 person, my cup for more can be a womb near the Mabani and your Dinkomo, near Yanchi, the Munia Hubebia. President John Dramani Mama, Edo Maneko, and it said, young sweet me, Abwa, Amamuno, Akoye. And Remediana Kwame fresh lofty. Send a modican a whom ye fly near our mountains. So over here, Bosomia, ye see move from May Bangina, and ye say, health insurance there which me register free. Now before then, the President John Dramani Mahama Elanchi free primary health care. No lanchi and Yamia Dom. Yasimi Krum Krankwanta de Doma West. Ebeka 150 district abani yi say odio moya piloting no. Neche say bono man so ye de ebe mu bi. Eni nti say ebe wieye na ho chehye ho tesen. Onkom obo na nimre mpese yedi. Ni di wi a eni lawyer brighter preku enso baba be din ko. But before then no, mam yankasa menua uba yukruma na e friend honorable. Baba Bunu region ha so dia. Ona e pay impo kasama health insurance e wo Bunu region ha. Yerua Clement Obi. Ra kwaba. Na pum ti sen.
Nyamina dum ye ho ye. Se won so ni afefo ni na mo ye.
Nyamia dum so mo ye pa hye osagefo atade ye yeze. Osagefo program de na gina mpa.
Se Babu Mante ma nyina era and I president of Bono Regional House of Chief.
Yes.
Inti yemfa konya wi so na yema na awodapa.
Ti das.
Yankopon aboa na dimfi edusia 60 years.
Yeah.
National health insurance so ekotana na echi.
Okay.
Ti ekọ ni nya mu adodo de bi na enwumre yafa e dey free
Okay, very well. My starting share say health insurance mujina paying saying.
Kwame me na wase na enchi ahefo no he na enyumri national health insurance oba bonomantem ha say na yekura district offices and out of 12 district na ewo ha no enkan na yewo mudu 10
okay
na offices idea ejuma na nyame ncha de abani by excellency John Dumeni Mahama true honorable Ahmed Ibrahim our banda na banda ni office na tan na efesa 2 districts ni nyina so yenya office kama pa wo ha ebo ma infrastructure wise ni yetimi akoye nim sa na okoba bi ti se brekum so a aban no true honorable Simon Ampa ben chireme
okay
onso so ya sidan mo ho pa ye BBI ben police station no
okay
I think say bosumi di enemy empemfo abetwa no na se brekum for so anya sa we say the same thing so ekoso Odoma West en Kram Kwanta nti be bosumi mienu be di emi de be commission e wo health insurance
okay
na wo hwe ya hoodne fam so wo membership a Bono region ye wo little above 1,300,000 ya no my target room e wo say yentimi kra no mu 80% de yetimi boa mo mbebe national health insurance no as a last figures I check here no na che say ye wo be little above 50% of 1,300,000
okay
they were reaching mu say afini be kwa wi no na target campaign for the my see yentimi achieve no yenso yetimi agina brand sa ye pen ya order ya no Isaac Badu amponsa ye original director wo hwe ne ntutu ya odi ato akwanema I think say ye da na ya bompa ne mabi aso no so can say ono so na from the BS or ye na omo na national health insurance yentimi fa yentima pamfia region no yeah ejuma ye four strength ya ade no so hu hia sisi mi ne wo ka say abana start our recruitment kakra de reba bia na ahoden ne wo form no ba bi ho anipa na ye okay ba bi wo so na ahoden ne wo form ba bi ti say wanfie ye nya couple of new recruiter almost so ba be fill vacant positions in there na etimi abo ama adwuma no yetimi afa ye ntuma pa ade afra ade ba akwa edi nya pa ye MDF ne co-payment no sika gege basa emfamra kwan so ya yaresa bia hodo no bebre no ede be hu hyem kwame na nyame ncha de nche ye lete bi ba ma mekra me no di ho nkomo to mfidie no ba akoso sisi na ban no any national health insurance ade esi no super say ye best start na nipa bu ho a ye twa tumi krata ye de aso mo nsa se mo mfanye adwuma no ye nim se basa be boa ma dodo na sikagege a emfamra kwan so no etimi a den abrasi sanse be ya se aban ye na fam de na wotua claims ede ma ayaresa bia adwuma efo ahodo ya ne omu dijuma na nipa no be kwa ayaresa bia awiye ne se ye mena etua sika se bia nse na mfata wo hwe national insurance hye ma kwa me ye mo aban abako ne aban be ba ene de akiri nyina ba so obi ani ho ode national insurance etoto form good se me ne wo ka se ye ka se claims reimbursement say ya kwire sabia ka ya bo na national health insurance aban mi tua no kwa me ye tua ma tisi ye ka say ne apomudi gi se de obi a ni claims no problem kakra bi na e wo ho na ne nsa anya den enka ni sika nyina so aban ne ye na fam de national health insurance adwuma for ya fam de e bompa ye say measures a omodi ato akwan no so be boa ama sika gege no so aden akofom eno achi no the different service tariff oko hospital na be shia doctor be use nsu obe na nten kakra eno so aban na increase by 120%.
Okay,
so that pomudin adwuma for no so ho be hen omu sika sem fam already last year or so ye increase medicine tariff no e ma ne so be gina yi enti sisi nru ho nsem na nka enhyeda anya adwen kakra na de na ha adwen so service tariff no sanse na obi kokko na se e o si entu 200 cedi any oye hwedwa manso ne ma na na enhyeda mo yi mpemfo hwe mu na yesi ye increase ni by 120%. enti emphasize that kese ma ye penya oda ya no CEO Dr. Victor Asaribampo in fact leadership and national health insurance ni ye adwuma for ihu se san kese aba ni se yeko ni na beboa ma yetimi afa yentima pade
so it means service providers no much made to yomoka up to
yes ya yo bosome enum
okay
won hye mu bosome enum na nka ho nti ete bosome enum ni free ma na afia calculate 3 months ayo automatic eda omuntam nti 9 no miensa February nti up to February of 2026 okay ebi ni menyo om full January ebi nso age om February 2026 se ekoba sa de ekire ni say na ye timi a breach gap na eda ho mre bia yetimi de ka be afi that is it enti you say normally ukwire sabi adwumen fo ku ahodo no ombo aban na baso se de sika sem no pa de ombetimi ahu se ejina brane omoni agiwo de omoyo.
Okay, very well. And yen hwe yen komobo na ne ye kase de ba na studio with free primary health care omo hwe ye na omo tie ba bi omo. I think say there's a lot of nkofo aka wo ho a na ncheche mu nsusu cheche abaso ba ubo so ye na emergency etime pa yenti yen hwe the free primary health care no health insurance for and implemented and Ghana service for
kwame me da se free primary health care amuse kasa na yemiensa free primary na for health care na chisa apomuden a ewo form ayesan ye kwa
okay
uhwa apomuden hihye na your primary level your secondary na your tertiary nti aban ani suade hu ni se anya hwi kra no ewo se de ewo form no primary no timamuni bia etimi ko bia onfa ha obia mu kan fan on so kura health insurance on kura health insurance no obenya akwanya be benefit kwame national health insurance na implement free national health free primary health care no
okay
but government of Ghana social intervention program
okay
national health insurance ni implementing agency ayeye de animu amana yeden ayeye na ye ni Ghana health service na isansa apomuden no ye da enkrabata bia na wo share the Ministry of Health Ghana Health Service here in Krabatano. Enti yaban social intervention program. Say the ka say ya maslock ya say that is another social intervention program on national health insurance here. Now ye implement ya matimamuni bia den enya some fashion.
It is so we betimi access free primary health care. I just all health insurance ana.
So primary health care free one no mampanya declare say we cry health insurance say we cry health insurance de o hia na say obenya identity a ebetimi a kire say Kwame Zak me na maba pomudin we e wo say ye hwew nti enye necessary health insurance engineer so no ni say ohun say since 1957 Ghana yenya ye fa ahudie ebepemenne ye basic level of healthcare no ani share da enko hokese apomudin de ye wo form enso so Kwame dan bia na foundation enye strong no dan ne ye den ebu.
Yes.
School, eco school, na say basic level no yam fan serious wa. There is no way oko wen mabekai oniema makomako bi nti ABCD 1 2 3 ya de ahu hia. And na de ba pondin fam so a basic healthcare no. Eno ye bibia. Me ne wo ka say sebi obi ani adidem e wo ne mpanyin fie so because ashase and basic healthcare no eni anyeden eni anko ho. Ebia obi aso adidem enne ya ye ka say in mpanyin fie so all because oye ketwa no yama ni anko anima bi ho obi afirime awu anya nkwanhia driver ni all because onya akwanya akra nkocheke ne BP ye maame no aye wodwa market women year round no na week round no da bia ye dwumadi awodi enti joda o sampa dwam branda odo ma hinkro ukuda o sunyan ya woda o brekum feeder on krankwanta so only time enti onya kwan nkocheke de ebe ho ana say yare bi efa ne BP na develop na ne de na koye kese ye ne be ban ho so na wa afrim enti that is neema free primary health care no ebe take more of screening and can non communicable conditions no so that timamuni ne be hu na hoden gina pen said the AC gina na watu anamon so so ayeden e de afa hon to free primary health care ni jumadi kakraba be din no de no.
Okay, I believe say ashase no ye bo bunu region other region bi mu so mainly osha 150 district no bunu region kwa no ye nya sen
ye nya 5
district this is near the end
ye wo Banga Tan Jamai North Jamai South na do ma West.
Okay, mo team visit community no am a pilot in Eko.
Yes, last 2 weeks ejumadi ID for the weekend no na was yentimi nko na major stakeholders no MMDC for assembly members as of phone ku ahodo na ye fe yenye major flute okay was crew omo district capitals no so enda de na di se sam regime di aba setena e was timamuni bi hu se in a year no wo opportunity sɛ wonko ayaresabea na yen screen you emfa yare bia ho so that betimi ehun sɛ de udina paint so 5 district ni de yetimi akoba bia ma ira ye panya odia no onmunya for Isaac Bedu amponsa enim pen for major stakeholders e di ho nkomo ama Bron region ha de ye de report so come back to authority momo hu sɛ dwumadi na omo de hye yensa na yetimi adi hu dwuma
yenko for mo ne omo hia ye nkomobo no ko sai omo je na wawa tu omo ni age. How was it?
Kwame, sharing experience town market. Mami bia in fact obedi adanse the national health insurance man you could see say health insurance no nsiachi bampa san say how etu nipa that is the only visa how beti media acquire sabia enya sa de na che say full payment ewo ho nipa na beti ase say na kwa me ni gisem kra wo nu say mami for ewodwam na aban de ade bi be fa health kiosk na wodwam ho a hu yia se wo se wo ngya wo ne ma ho na untu America nkwa yaresabia e ma yen check this time round u di dwumadi na adopter adwuma for hospital workers e wo ho a mo so e de ayaresa na e ben wo ho se adwumadi ayi di no nye nipa ni nyina na enedi onya chance ye mfa ye bram pen for mo twi ka ekuko ba bia so okoload ba ko ba e wo se wo medicine book na on trying the next load enti sa minute no between se wakọ aba na time na ewo akwanya ho baro kasa on pack car na on municipal and also on original e be very difficult to beko so sa hours na ye de be ye pese this time around ye be kwa be toa asori som ahodo enkramufo som na nka mo group no na pomudi adwuma fo so ejina akiri nti once a free time bebem no mo amount ejuma bebre ho akwa me omu nya kwan omu ko before 8 now am apon anajo so aban say no yen fa pomudin memo kwa me aban yes na ma we nyina because of say sika ye de bo national insurance and say Ghana ya pomudin ho bra na e wo soro eson pa ye say what free ye budget no team se tokru kasi aiden ato ne nyina ne say ye late entry e wo hospital ye twen ma yare edidie stage bia de kakese aiden but under the free primary health care no say kwa me see itimi e ma ye ho kwan na pomudin adwumefo ni e nhwehwemu na yehu se de ye nipadua na hoodin ni city a I believe pa say yeti so obi catch say OBP enam 1 liter ene bu ha wonye na wabrabom ubejai nti e ma yare ne nko soro now 2025 aban spend a little about 10.2 billion Ghana cedi na o de bo national health insurance ho bra and free primary health care we o share budget e da so a little about 1.2 million Ghana cedi enti se timamfo no nyina yetie ho ase na yetimi screen ye ho na ye be hu ye status a anema ha nwo se ye nya ya anya ni nyina na betwe ye free yare bebre ho so adeno dey no sika 10.2 billion Ghana cedi na aban wasting year bia na eso beti aye den e be abafom ama Ghana yetimi nya sika dey ayad foforo ba ya ndi so sa na ye ma yare ni didie kwa me ne cancer sa aye bai ne stroke first na e painful yare en fana san ya bronsan yare kra so say dey adoma che dey yare because youth no cry enya more than painful no cry so very risky na say amanfo dialysis so risky ye hwe omunya failures be brave sebi omunnim status no obi more education until one dey na man no nam system in fact obi develop yare anyimre ya kasa because odi aduana anye se odi
yes
adia anye se obi ye in fact na dream no nim say ye and the free primary health care no a whole counseling unit e dis afutu we nyina be mai ade wo se yenye emma ne ma binye den entotoye ade ayi wo se nipadua no ye nyina no ebenya sa akwanya no ma pomudin adwuma efo ahodo no ene ye dinkita ho aboa ma ye nso ye din aban ho so e wo ne bi me ye sure pa se driver ni ne tie enye ka tie enye oku speed a odwen ho enti sa na won so be hu apomudin ne se ne ma bi ento yi a ade bi a wo ye bia no eni be ko ho ama so ayi den watimi atu anamo.
Okay, and to say within that 5 districts no more piloting, you know, obia betimi asase free primary health care.
For now, anything I piloting, say ye education na matimamuni na atiase. I believe say bosun ya ABC na ombe declare say from ne umuvu kwa na chese bibia. And say nipa na hu ade crowd dey ba na on for services no so nti I was say enko nti say na ma sorry say the medical kan kuaku I was say yen hyehyia omo be be say em fakrata anko no amatima mu ne edikan atiase what free primary health care na kasankasa a kire nti what onya santi ase na I believe say mfaso na eba ono so benya bi
nti yet say na mo say you see it me register health insurance free wa Bono region for 1 month na twema na
in fact anye Bono region ko man tam ni nyina Ghana ni nyina o say free primary health care no ye di kan state ni clear say unhia health insurance ansa wako kwame ye warishi mu pa say ye screen ni pa wi a dodo na yare nkitikiti bi hye ye ho a yenim now the second stage which is the secondary care no unhia health insurance ansa wo di akọ Mampansi empese no ba ya consider so make what check free primary health care ya hu se me BP ndi se wosoro ya wo se me starting no madru bosome na me nya sika mfa nkwa ya sabia na nipa na mo akra anko so that free primary kra be waste enti mampansi no ye mfa bosome mu a enye insurance mfa nche Ghana ni bia woni bi enti me wo ha kra wo me number now send the insurance card number kra ma me ade be china ya renew ye wo 24 hour standby team wo ha omo ye ade na na nyina nti 24 hour economy no health insurance ye renew an de
asa say ye kasa sisi
so obi de ne de ba push my sisi a me send me
free
ye be free a untu eska bia kwa me ahun say national health insurance no indirectly no Ghana ni bia contribute to
yes
because we source of funding na ye wo NHI levy wo and obia oyetima ni bia no etuya say sika ni bi
yes
enti the only barrier ana consider shentemu ne ye physical card na ikura nipa no obi a wotwi oye bas kwa me okonkran ba akwa na otofu ebe say 4,000 health insurance age 2.5 into no 25 Ghana cedi abetu an office no where they can tu an multiple times
yes
enti card keke na enkura ne HSA onye health insurance ni ana onye member so yes no yenti ma sa ade ne meye akwansidie hwe omo ye adwuma mu tu asenet obi ye tu 2.5% of net senate contribution at the national health insurance yes physical card no nko yenti ma meye akwansidie say no nti no unya health insurance enti ye the season we bi ato sa ankofo no omo ametu esika enya bi no ye mfa akwanya we na enroll obi on board enti we a good opportunity say so bia district office bia ben bia no de ko ha
ye be
free a untu esika
eti ye ben de month ben.
It's supposed to end 31st of this month.
That is in
now so yes to yenya official communique.
Okay.
Say omu year it's ongoing.
Yes,
until will be a uti anywhere until o deadline zoom ano. Until yes say o dedi for the agro from China. E be ana China you no be year from who knows.
Okay. That's it. I think it's a very well summer the intimidation so be able to take advantage of it now. We join health insurance for free for a month a woman days kakaka. One show me the baby, you know. It is nyina ye hu ani so say free primary health care no ahyase no na ye nkomodie nchechiremu a ese ye maame mo ye nua mo Ghana for etiase ansa na ya start free primary health care na nkasa sa na nkomobo ni nyina no akwakodu enche bia meja mo akọ ye nhwe fapema esiwo bi asa akoye te say any free primary health care be ide health insurance nkofo nshada eni enko ho because am ikoye me ko free primary health care and health insurance me say nya card bio
kwame free primary health care na health insurance na nkrabasa ba ko ana se ne nsa ba ko na ene be boa ma pomudin atimi asi people enya de a ede how bia be the mainstream that is health insurance no anti ye juma na nsa mienu na ya bam keke
okay
free primary health care no ebe boa ma ya ye early detection of cases na normal health insurance no a treaty one who say your system na you operating now no ye wo na ya food your arms na ye twen say obi nyare nkwaya sabia na ayasabia for mfani build mra na health insurance nye de nkunkutu ya hoka no free primary health care no nso dwumadi ebedini say ebe boa ma ye hu yare bi ntentema asia no anse yare na ye den aba so ye two different thing enya de how bia be the main one and na when you say asan kura bia kwanya ma ye timi ya insurance card de amamamfo enti a from sango ne say free primary health care no ebe boy yare ho ban preventive ebe boa ma ye detect yare ntem na the main health insurance no nso a ye institution e wa o etu amamfo mo acquire sabia how we will money per ye tia hoka. What I say? Because under free primary health care, no, you see a population based payment, upfront payment for the quarter. It mean funny say your second quarter. A buy baby can release this card to provide an account to. Say be I am fan Kotri nipa hoye 400 ahead 9. Now be a per screen 50 Ghana cedi. You multiply 50 by 400 na you to account up front.
Okay.
Now the entire sustainable and free primary health care be me sustain and say sika na beto account ma emeye facility ni mo dia until say obeye hu adwuma.
Okay.
Enti o say wonko screen nipa no. Enti this time round apomuden adwuma for entina office.
Esa mo call grounds.
Enya sa sika na da ho na wo hwe figure na keke. Enti me fa nye de, enti me fa nye hwe. Enti mo na mo screen no na ye ti free sika no. Enti screen ni nyina wi sika no mo dia even though the account because obebu akonta, obeji data of nipa akọ screen omo no. Enti we ni de health insurance ye panyine for any game changer.
Okay.
Because ebebo ama ye timi aboy area bebre ho ban at the earlier stage. On say medical can say de ni kokodiri pempen so bi a na kanon so ye kese.
Okay.
Now hwe nhwehwe mu ama ya tia say average patient cost so be ayarwa ko ayarsabia at the early stage no it range from 100 to 200.
Okay.
Second stage near 400 to 1000 na ekosa it so obi could do third stage and so acquire ayarsabia it means per patient no obe spending more than 2000 and we nipa no meanwhile no senka free primary health care wo na onya early detention of yare no na yesi ano kwan range between 100 and 200 Ghana cedi no.
Okay.
So we dey here at the papa ba Ghana ha yesi nyina yetimi sum na ye boa ma ejina kama
Ghana for diaspora nipa bibiri ehwe wona nimre asema betimi aka kiro mo na yemfa nkomo no.
Ne meka ne say yem fire pomudin serious. It was so bia pomudin no fa wo dey any serious because ade e hye won in fact ye nkwa hye mampan ni nsa de ba won e hye won nsa more than nipa bia. Ye ti wan say ntimi anko check say o BP ye de nima bibiri a hye abaifo so now na make an afidie bi say this year you person for free primary health care ni save abaifo kakra na ye mobidi ne ho ban we kwa me obu wo ho a even adwuma ye wo mi kra ya esi akọ school the whole year obu ha be 5 years 10 years what make can edition hu kran say me nko hospital.
Yeah, there's a lot of me say me
what I say ye nkan fan say hu kran say me nko ayaresabia say afeso a say otimi koye mouthwash ye hohoro num toothbrush ni ntimi nya adwuma ni nyina e wo say wo nko na ye hwe wakoma say de esi bo eye ye physical body ni betimi are looking nice but the way you say na onim e wo say wontimi hu BP status e wo say wontimi hu sugar level it is animal we ye basic nema e wo say timamuni bia wo fa to wo say afeso a me kwa akocheck say animal we say afeso na yetimi check ye investment eco returns e wo say health susu no yetimi ye ni ko because ene betimi ma investment na ya akoje returns no wetimi atena se adi wan anye ne sa na wo load this kind go account afeso a ye koda asiwa aso ndani ye konkramo deni aboso mfonso nso ko wan anye ne nyina me say obi en obetimi a onyankopon no kora nhwe wo so wo ne be den ba enye wo ni nyana na the early stage no eye nyame nhihye ye bi wo ho a ya mu sere yesi antoto ya na mo ni yi no na ye nti message mamuni bia Ghana ni bia obi o hwe ayimre bia se apomuden no wonfa ne de ne nhye ono anensa na ommo ne ho ban
my end as a metonsa for the short period they wait me abechechere mu I say we are very educative Ghana for e hwe nyina no eni bitimi age ye be pebere na ya se di nkomo pa ndi ndi me ye ba ye be tentina ya domo esiko e wo sade asen mutie ye be da asen all right and then we ne yewura Clement Obin a oye panyin a okasa Emma Health Insurance Obono region ha ene no e di nkomo twetwe e de brown no se na midigan ka che ode ne lawyer Bright Apreku Esquire e ba be di nkomo ye be ya amanyosem twame ye ba sisia.
We firmed up a vision for health sovereignty. To us, sovereignty is the practical capacity to find indispensable to economic progress. As an advocate for African health sovereignty, I'm obliged to demonstrate this practically at home. And so in Ghana, we have moved beyond rhetoric to implement calculated, aggressive policies that place the citizen at the center of the clinical encounter. With one of the more successful national health insurance schemes in Africa, Ghana has an insurance coverage estimated at 66% as at the end of 2025. This still leaves about 34% of our population without coverage. Besides, the NHIS has been focused principally on curative care with very little attention to preventive care. To mop up the remaining population not covered by the NHIS, we have recently successfully begun implementing our free primary health care program. By removing financial barriers to the most basic and essential services at the rural level, we've ensured that our citizens in the remotest regions of our country also enjoy access to quality health care.
Mame saying Emma Wakwaba Biu, send a medical monyanti and Yene, Lawyer Bright Preku Esquire, and so Eba Bidin Comoha. Cancel, Majo.
Major Rapani.
Now, Pum to say,
I mean, Uncle Pond, no, and I'm saying,
Yamia Dumboko. The Biam Shampasum and Bisa say, Oda Sukasama on all Millicent, Yabuamankwa. And now the audience and no life achievement. Yeah, some position the ultimate influence.
Mamencia, Yatia Phone, I heard for an annual. Mamencia, the good people of Sunyana West. A feature, any name quote for Fear Pre or Domase, any Siat, Domasia, Mantuka, yeah, name correction was here. Namencia, a member of parliament, the Honorable Millicent Amankwaya Bois. Na ye MC Honorable Miami Senior Lawyer Santi Boating baby will be an annual channel constituency in paying for you now. Then let me extend it to the region. Na annual Minjina Kwanya we so Jina Ibra Paying Samijan Fisu and Nemunkase delegation the free region house so called Boano. And also yeah, we've done it again as NDC and Yeniaji. On the substantive question, Ubisa, this question, my protocol is smooth because there be a media no say it's an inherent position.
Okay.
So far as in as much as say one she's still the member of parliament for Sunyana Western and Kwade. Yeah, a position. Yes. Yes, we still work for
private legal practitioner.
Yes, politically we still work. We still work for him. You see, we had a collective goal, and the goal was to win power for the NDC. Again, after we've won power, the goal again was to ensure the development of Sunyana West will be at its apex.
Okay.
And the good people of Sunyana West, your tongue, omotoy.
Okay.
And for the first time in the political dispensation of the NDC, and even in our democratic since 1992, Sunyana West, yenya constituency, na yeni Sunyana Kabuma 1996, Sunyana West. We've never won power. The party has never won power for the when you can say you kind of parliamentary seats now.
Okay.
So I would say we sold our vision, we sold our aspiration to the good people of Sunyana West. And I'm toy and I'm a fee almost a sound monster. Okay, right from Papa J.H. Mensa, Pajua J. Darkon, the Honorable Ignatius Balfour, who went for I think 16 years or so. Then all belonging to the blue side of our political divide, which are the MPP. Then in 2024, we had Millicent Amankwaya on the ticket of the NDC.
Yes.
And Sunyana West for the Akwanya Lemai. We are grateful and will forever be grateful. I always say it's a social contract. And the contract signed with us 4 years. And they say, definitely we will come back and account to the people. Remember now, we are not going to make promises. They will judge us by what we've done, and just suppose same with the promises that we made earlier. So we are working, and I trust Honorable Melissa and say we will go account to the people, and they will renew our mandate.
Because if you say accountability time you better could be 16 years and they compare with you.
Yes, but you see, one will say a bit unfair to compare 16 years to 4 years, but we are not going to make comparisons. We are going to account to them, juxtapose that with the promises that we made, and see whether or not they will renew our mandate. But I am very, very much optimistic. I am very optimistic, say our mandate will be renewed, having in mind the things we have done and the things we plan to do.
But grounds, no.
My optimism flows from the the person, and the response from the people.
Okay.
So I'm very much optimistic. Say our mandate will be renewed.
My main that's what. Now I want to say. Oh, no,
yeah, me adom say Parliament assign. I call it Parliament. So she's in Parliament working for the good people of Sunyani West. You see, Millicent is somebody. He's human-centered person. And or you'll be a Sunyani West Edana Komaso. So Mecca say on Fahun so Beko one term. Sunyani West be developing. Her ultimate goal is to ensure development for the good people of Sunyani West. So it matters not the number of years she will serve. Her ultimate goal is to ensure say her aspirations, i.e. the development of the constituency, will be achieved.
But
when it comes to development, because say road, you know, when we came now, the road was in tatters. And as we speak, the road has been constructed. When it comes to rural electrification, we are supplying bulbs so that I do not want to pinpoint individuals we've been able to secure some sort of employment for them.
For that one day.
A plethora of them. Recently, one we had in old markets, you know. Say it has been counted as part of the 24-hour economy market, which sort was cut about a month ago. We are making sure, say, you buy a financial scheme for the market women and some men in the constituency, so that we will support their trade. These are all of the things I hear yesterday. We will ensure both physical development of the constituency and human-centered development of the constituency as well.
Very well. There's a Sunyani West for air show and Numrea. Omo Nimnia Cosson, I think said Omangasa, the Omo comment and go fast the comment bar and no bit me as you said Moye Juma and so ewo. Nyamaba Kwansan said 2024 Modi campaign has to do with Operation Recover All Loot. I do a achievable. What I am in do for cancer. You buy a topic in
it is very much achievable. Because the corruption is the bane of our underdevelopment. And say you share the S1 administration, how we then in opposition trumpeted how corrupt they were. For me, it is very much achievable, but that is not also to say we should circumvent the law.
By this time, ya chibi mu bebere kura mani pet them ya prosecuting for but say mo chechim so man chire say mra na e be pass through be nya abotere.
No, Lottie, there a woman is say you just a cromfo kra fa wa de na say hu say kuta na Ghana we are the emra in the buo mine.
Yes.
And we are governed by the 1992 Constitution.
True.
And the Constitution, the dictate of the Constitution actually says a person is innocent until proven guilty. And say one of the things that is utterly difficult per a criminal prosecution. Because your back criminal prosecution, the burden on the prosecution, that is the state, is to prove the guilt of the accused person beyond reasonable doubt.
Nipana wakodi bone na ya cheno kuano. Ya de na kodu court a wa wo de ne court no ese se wo kire
hu se okwa dunsem a wo bom. Esi su pise ye bani panyina ni ma obi abege atum se asoma CD4.
Wow. Hey.
So it tells you how the degree of burden, and it is the highest form of degree of burden. About in civil matters, there are friends that the preponderance of probability. You say, what the things and the carry the young. That's why. But in criminal, because there are punishments associated with it, and some of the punishment is to curtail the liberty of that person.
Okay.
And what do you consider if you ask? If you could have seen here, if you do no me ade. Enti se what the entances are able be a yamra ne kire se wo kwadu boni no be kire na enta sumu se yehwe nipa nyina anyima obi afa ade we jo be ka se asuma si ana obentin 84.
Okay.
So and the person has the right to an attorney, a lawyer of his choice.
Okay.
And you know how lawyers will operate. If I am to defend a person, I will go length and breadth to defend the person. And Lofty, let me tell you one secret in criminal prosecution, especially on the side of some of us who are on the other side of defense. If I am doing criminal prosecution and I want to safeguard the liberty of my client, Lofty, no matter what I will do legally to safeguard his liberty, I will. The slightest thing I will go for appeal. The slightest thing I will object to.
Okay.
And I am not surprised that Obiti said, the slightest thing my senior attaché will go on appeal.
Okay.
The slightest thing he will object to, because you want to curtail the liberty of his clients. So for me, oral is achievable. But that is also to say that we should allow due processes to manifest.
Okay.
Yeah, master the amrani city, you know. The fact say I say kwaku manu betimi the community do boahin. I example. The fact say I say community do boahin. I adia ba ku menu anami ensemi na enkyere se waye.
Okay.
Unless amrani adia tumu se waye. Because listen, there may be some infractions, but ask yourself, can that amount to criminal culpability?
Okay.
You get my point?
Okay.
A typical example, banking sector cleanup. Once there were a lot of infractions, it resulted in collapse of so many banks, so many financial institutions. Why are they prosecuting no criminal?
I'm prosecuting, yeah.
So it tells us that probably morally, economically, there may be infractions, but it will not amount to criminal culpability.
Okay.
So for me, oral is achievable, and let's support our Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice so that they can achieve it. Because me, I always say me chrome coin. Let me chrome coin that way. I born pie. Yeah, honorable Millicent. To tune and near see bit me I coin. That's one man may know this scanner. How do I support you? We should ensure say you be to corruption. I say.
Okay. Adia ba kwa say ewo abagana ha ne nsenya na anokwa. The education minister honorable Harry na Drusu kan was has to do is ya chi obi e de ne call other say court and as a police ya see e be man be no sika dodo ya de to so ene ho nsensem no wo obi kan ho as this time say it me this can be towards this can we dey anu e din.
No, look, one thing is bill sika no enye sika ye tua o.
Okay.
I hold a view on bill which is different from so many lawyers. I agree. Say, I think Martin Pebu number 2 or 3. Who say all offenses are bailable now.
Yeah.
But we should also know that it is subject to a discretion.
Okay.
Exercised by a judge.
The judge in the bit makasi say and I say.
Yes. Well, in reading section 96(5), the law provides for some reasons why a judge will not grant you bail.
Okay.
You get it? I don't see. I agree with my learned senior Harry Naidu say we shouldn't use bail as
a tool
to punish somebody. Because you know what? The arrestor abino 48 hours to keep you.
Yeah.
Aside the 48 hours, after the expiration of the 48, he either takes you to court and ask for a court remand and ask Obama police inquiry bill or self-recognizance bill, then you go.
Okay.
The na haruna air patch and say and who say a toda sika bi a ye de to so eno no eye sika ye de ato uti so.
Okay.
And to those who will stand as sureties for you, and can na obi be surety na wudwane a the person you also arrest no.
Okay.
But this same Martin Pebo, I think in number 4, at the court and reading the lives of ex parte Green and ex parte Alloton in those line of cases, MIA who say sure you can't build bond that it's a civil matter.
Okay.
It's deemed as a contract. And it is a nipano edania. You see, Kokumano real phone way. Your money bill. Your money bill near the tabo be a 5,000 and a 2. Nitiso. Wow, ba big them assurity ya man no. Wasu the edisa obehwe se anopa a real and you know see here kwakumanu a obeba.
Okay.
And this year you kwakumanu na yanyana. Tabo a dia to nitiso nti wa wo begina mama no we ni ade a ifa bi forfeiture. We ni sika ubetua. Si enye sika yaje.
Okay.
Everyone say, but tabo idea trinity so. See a typical example, your mommy said the name Temekulo. A brand court no, your money ban here and I am who no. Who said those who stood as surety, the lives of Alex Segbefia and Co. They had to come in. You get it. So and yes, Sika Rebecca say, yeah, the opportunity so na but it's an anticipated money. Rebecca say, because for you to stand as surety for somebody. The law provides that these men should be men of substance.
Okay. Tenyo obia ne beti.
Enyo kwakwa hwe pa bia keke.
Obetimi asoro akwase okugina mu ase. Surety for obi. Okay.
So if these men are men of substance, then you see the bail bond in AEC.
Okay.
Can you meet? Sometimes they even use landed properties as justification. Can you meet it? Said the Ochinabi. Unsu be hu se me wa sudie. Then my responsibility is to checkmate the person who has been granted bail. Then say, I'm ready here and telling we procure the person.
Okay. Okay. But rather than say BD and I na a was change obedience.
Oh, it's mostly depend on the degree of offenses. Sabi, far and tansa. For instance, I stand to be called, but I think special prosecutor and tansa now the ball. Kinofrata nini criminals I think 70 something also. Na ye ma bela ye mfa nkoto to be because we are 10,000 Ghana cedis. Definitely the degree of offense, the offense charge, the evidence before the person can also be factors which will be taken into consideration.
Okay.
If you walk cry, your money partner self recognizance, baby, I say, yeah, mobi amijina ma wan kasa. It's boiled down to the degree of Sabi, Obi could defy Obi. MIN Casa will be you're charging a common assault or more bail bond than yepe. It cannot be the same.
Okay. But the end answer your call police stations also as you could do what you be more bail and I say, Bizo, Minam Chieska.
I stand to be committed. No police officer has the right to take money when it comes to bail. No police officer has the right to take money. No police officer.
Okay.
Because bail, you don't take money. And I repeat, you do not take money. No police officer has the right to take money.
It's here for set more TBU because your sister Obinya Seminal police station and just say Utiesika Emma police officer be a woho. A siasika na yede to so no yede to ni penitiri so se ye hwia no abribia so ba na wa ma ene be den siasika ni nipa kra wo begina ne be de free won ti anya se wokodu ho na ye se pese ye ma nipa ne bail na ye se watwe siasika na de ama no nya sa na sa asem ne tie ti mo atia se de no ano no. There was another big bia mo kan wasem say it has to do with community service. Say obi akowia banchi obi akowia board mankan ni aburo come the day into no ko wi ai na di nipa na kwato bia nsa wom for bia be 3 years 4 years ye just say dey nka ye be ya ye de na kobo ha koko board ase ho se yogina ho na oprapra koko board ase ho sa kosi station ho a eno so ya de an wa 7 sentence wi no wa kofia eno so hu ni sen.
I am a student of that theory, and I remember say maybe a passe plea bargaining act. I also wrote on my Facebook handle said then there should be the community sentencing act.
Okay.
You see, our criminal offences law, no, yeah, passed in 1960.
Okay. Ache.
So in 1960, the then legislature did not envisage Saniamano. And most of the provisions is either term of imprisonment or fine.
Okay.
So I agree, sir. We can use it as a tool because Lottie, the principle of criminal or punishment, and yes, sir, you didn't panic of
okay.
It serves as a form of deterrence as well, and reformation. It is a deterrence there. No, Kofi Akuria or the community. You say for 3 months, Ubeyi gata and that community for 3 months and a pebia, a boom say woo. Sabe say yaw any mona ya will tremble between home for kaka.
Yes. Na message so kaka.
Yes. So, punishing the panel. We should also look for a tool to reform and deter others.
Okay.
But Ghana, I say, let us throw the person under the carpet. The person will go to prison and come back more hardened.
Obana wasan is crowd nso ko ebi mu so adon banchi bi na buro bi odi na wasan ya na asan de na akọ no akoto aso obakra no nso san
how many times how many times dey obi akọ to prison na wa reform wa sesanda our conditions even there will not allow you to be reformed. So me I agree, say obi quote unquote ewie sika botini bi na otimika say I am doing plea bargain metua say e dey am state no na state ni di tumu di ya. Why don't we also pass the Community Sentencing Act?
Okay.
So that those misdemeanors, those offenses, quote unquote, which seem not to be so much grave, assault, battery, any such offenses now, you bet me, especially the tortuous ones, you know. Why don't we pass the Community Sentencing Act so that we can use that as also forms of punishment? And I think I agree with it. I think it should be something that else as of my agreeing.
Okay, very well. Ma yemra LGBTQ plus ho asemi na no so mra shebedwafo no ekotena ase na ekowie achi ni se nyame adom sadia mo kan o kan obe you monnom se na moteni minim 20 no na nyame adom mra shebedwafo no etimi passe ye but the majority ni na ye minority for say there be boycott yo de omu se nema bi wo wa ye koso aye nkoyi intino mo ntimi ngina ma monye den mo mpasse sa emra no because no mo hu ni se nsakire ne nema bi wi abamu a omogidi se enso ani ebi mo say adan na mo time no mo nyina mu di akire ma ye passe ma na do danko akufu ado se nkonsan wansan mo de ye campaign ti ano 2 enemo mo de kwa mo ye nsakire ye wo mkura ansa na mo passe nje se dada nde na mo nim se enye na mo abesesem na mo de ama Ghana for nsesan no susu no minority for no say nsesan no so kwa che say ni ade no konkokwa hwe ni maminti on this side
of the I listened to the minority leader and a click him and I'm saying call back with an interview he made in 2024 with Bernard Avale. When let me quote the minority leader then or say the law in its current shape and form will not pass any constitutional tests.
Okay.
That was the statement the then majority leader, now minority leader, made in an interview with Bernard Avale. Then you ask yourself, say, why would the majority leader then say that? You read the law. Me for Mozi are saying LGBTQ Rebecca can you use it?
Okay.
But I will state it again. The law as it was then. And also now for
oh. Okay. And they command another than go over now for so.
Yeah, because you see, let me show you one thing. Why would you pass a law? And say because somebody is deemed to what promulgate it or what, that person is criminally liable. Why would you pass a law and say who say and now me no me can saying say who say law kwakuma nu ne kwabena yes no even medical officer should attend to them when the person gets to the hospital. And we are the first yes one. What from that? Again, you come in and say that the person should not have the right to a legal representation. When the Constitution and our fundamental human rights, remember, say under the hierarchy of laws, the Constitution and that is the supreme law of the land.
Yes, and it says that any law found to be inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution to the extent of its inconsistency is null and void.
Okay.
So the Constitution, in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, has provided, say, when a person is put before a trial or a court, that person has the right to an attorney. You have not amended that portion of the Constitution.
Okay.
Remember, it's under chapter 5. That is the fundamental human rights provision of the Constitution.
Okay.
Now, subsequently, Parliament, by the passage of a statute, an enactment, say the person should not have the right to an attorney. Will it pass the test of constitutionalism?
Because then okay, we changes nearby now. You say, as I said, oh yeah, lawyer, and so we call Jinamuma LGBTQ.
And to be bound, no,
yes, and Johnny is Ukraine. You can't report about it.
Yeah, one.
Okay, legal one. Lawyers offering legal representation to LGBTQ plus person. Okay, you can revision a crime woman. In the first one,
the end can know to me representing it.
Yeah, Mrana, the command, another Danko Kuvado, one sign. Nature said, we yakwine. We a lawyer, won't mean could Jinamuma. And if I want to call you, we are a money. Would they a chill now?
So what is democracy about?
But then times
where are we living?
Then times when MPP and a majority in Parliament.
Yes, I'll come there. For a friend of the I'll come to him. Okay. But let's deal with the legal aspect first.
Okay.
So it means I ask me, is it a strict liability law? Is it a Sharia law? Is it a Mosaic law or what? Because you what's ready for? So what is the presumption of innocence?
Okay.
In our criminal jurisprudence, where is the presumption of innocence? How is it different from armed robbery? Are they still not the same laws? Are they still not the same crimes? How is it different from defilement? So before or what 2 years or what 3 years there, that person should have the right to an attorney.
Yes, but
when I was working a member mienu, and I am mienu that or more dear should not have the right to an attorney.
Okay.
Which one is more serious?
Because I'm the mummy no more desires on young baby.
And
one farmer mountain crank and be a home.
And we are for which one is more serious?
I crank the serious, also I crank Dutch and I'll bet me.
Yes. So you see, we shouldn't act as if we are more Catholic than the Pope. And you young kwan by a religion I yet see. You know, me, I will not wish some about Bema Bema. I will never pray some about Bible or bar because I see that. However, as on my we work with laws.
Good.
So we cannot just say because proper social values. What? Who even defines what is proper?
Who? And one point a bit make us away
when they are proper. Section 104 of Act 29. It can be before unnatural carnal knowledge. So the natural carnal knowledge for vaginal penile penetration.
Yes. And only
natural. And nyame boy.
And you can abontin.
And nyame boy. Only more natural things am for you them. Even with obani bema. The unnatural things.
There have been a lot of accounts might be mugaka say ni kunu
person or be fan and normal way, no person or fan baby.
Yes.
Answers offer.
So why are we acting as if say I agree, me jitum say I am forced, but we should also act and enact laws that will not pass the test of constitutionality.
Okay. So Osha second one is also medical and mental health professionals providing health care or counseling services.
Meaning say if we say will be IS and any panaba hospital, a doctor should not attend to the person.
Yes.
Not can this be possible?
When I fire there for
How?
Very bad.
And it says Sabu will be a HIV so everyone the say a quite any pan doctor should not attend to that person.
Because I'm seeing because of boy drama.
Yes. So for me, the law in its then shape and form, I had some difficulties with it. The current one, those that has been expounded, I perfectly agree with them.
Okay.
Why, when we have media freedom, I am not saying the media houses should be entitled to promulgate it. Media houses should be entitled to promote it, or media house should be entitled to facilitate LGBT activities. But that is not also to say you are gagging them from speaking about it.
Okay.
Then where lies media freedom?
I just say, watch your Casaboa.
Yes. Because in as much as we don't want them to promulgate it or facilitate or promote it, we want them to speak ills about it. Said the better amount for enye. There should be education. Said the better amount for engaging in that act. So if we want to seclude the media from it, how do we go about it?
Just a year can want him say and
are we living in a banana republic? Yeah,
solid.
So then comes a federal market. You see, you were the majority leader then. Number one, they were in government.
Yes.
The passage of the law, not if one and never MPP.
Yes.
And I'm not the majority leader. So they could not withstand it. The then minority passed the law. Then, and I'm the common good father rejected, a good father answer. Or quote unquote, yes, in a Supreme Court.
Yes. That is a medical and a grammar junior, so between that.
So ask yourself, say, what were they doing? If they think the law then, aside the interview and even have so being say man send a net here and canino na a year, why didn't they pass it? Even after or minor Supreme Court adjudicated President Kufuor was still in power in January 2025.
Yes.
He could have assented to the law. Why did he not? Enti one ye obiaba you now what you want? What's the name answer today? Obiaba, yeah, effected those changes, which for me I think is prudent. Because saying here the and people have the right to go to court, go to the Supreme Court to ensure that those laws are not part of our laws.
Yeah.
Because against the Constitution. And you see any law found to be inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution is null and void.
Okay.
So let me kudos to the majority led by the Honorable Mahama Ayariga. I think I'm waiting. Minimum BNP before the press conference.
I think is it Friday? Normally a press conferences.
Okay. But what they are failing to let Ghanaians understand, they say these were your words then. Why would you approbate something in 2024? And then now you want to reprobate it. It tells you lack principle.
And what your communicate na videos about mountain crash na you are friend market cry no otias adian.
Yes!
And nintinema Richard the last guy. And then the public could become what they call Supreme Court.
I said in an interview with Benamle on is it Benham Point or something, City TV.
Okay.
I think Marcus said it categorically. Said some of the provisions in the law will not test the constitutionality.
Okay.
So what is wrong with it now?
And no
one was about now.
enya sa na ade ne tie na ade ne se ne mo ye free mu no ya ade ya be sai mra na kura ne so mamo nkofo liberty so mbetimi aye gay wo ye mamu mamo nkofo kwan
so den na yesi obi adi bone enti emfa nipa ni nko gina court ana me bawo we they expecting say ke emfa nsem say nya te say who engage in that activity na yensi wabunku ana men fa nkoko because so far the person is sent to court the person has a right to representation.
Yes, so when your lawyer dinechi
now what the abesha man that what the lawyer ngobi na the one we o man ni sika de lawyer ngobi twan no we cannot do that as a country. So me up to the minority the least said about them the better.
Oh, but I'm so from micro minority.
What is my?
Mighty. Mighty be omo de kikan
mighty. What is mighty about?
There's a moment to me kasa.
The shouting. They did not to our you know to insano. Or tia mu no. Me, I am surprised about the attitude of Afenyo Makin in recent days. Especially when I heard him speaking about a judge and telling the whole country, say, you as a lawyer, you will not respect the judge. You question how the judge passed his or her. I don't know whether the judge is a lady or a man.
I think it's
how he passed his exam and you will not respect the judge. And I don't blame you. I blame our Ghana Bar Association. So me kwaju da me kan and can be a family general legal council. This man committee. All that I heard about it was to issue a letter.
Letter cry who letter me who and say kasama for no be kasa
condemning. How do we do that? So now we've opened the Pandora's box. Obia court now say ruling and judgment to be in his favor. He just comes to the media, organize press conference, and start insulting judges.
Yeah.
And is this the country we want to build?
And
that is the same thing. He stands in parliament to I mean, he think he's okay. He think he's fine. He can shout because he can shout. That is okay. We United when another day, your videos are there. We heard what you said. You can go to court in a day. Under Kokonu, you went to court in a day. You had the opportunity to file your case on that day. That day, the Supreme Court was constituted. The Supreme Court heard you. The Supreme Court gave judgment on that same day.
Yes, Supreme Court judges in Okano, untimi for 1 day.
Friday's come on, Friday's come on, city Supreme Court and city on Friday. But a fellow went to court on Friday, had judgment on Friday.
The same Friday.
You can question a system just because you want to be heard. Into better, is that the country we want to build? And this is what you call what mighty what.
Mighty minority, yeah.
But they are not serious.
Okay. To share, baby, I'm running the Yabasisi ama na shebi bia for net me agia tumuno. Akaza president on drama ni mama ebe sign no. She said the edane kwan so.
I perfectly agree with them because I see when I read the earlier law, me know what the home come if you let them hold that. Yeah. And I asked myself when you am right person pass it. Sudden
ya pass it we aka say
and when you am right person agitum say obi so the first question you ask yourself and say enti say see yeti we na ye ba no obi ebe pimpon say kwakuma ni kwabena omo ye gay ye de omo kwakota who obi an represent omo omo ko jina omo say but with the state that is state now a prosecuting there would the state be represented by a lawyer?
Yes. Just this is state in your lawyer.
And is that what we are taught as lawyers when it comes to criminal prosecution? Even say you do be court, there are some judges. Na se nipa no kwa any lawyer. They refer the person uncle legal aid.
Okay, yes.
To get legal representation. When the person cannot afford the services of a lawyer. But what you see and pass him that you didn't quit now. Then we have obikra by speculation. Send me who say and conform me anyway. A red money there Omukwa kwe become those acts ever magina abonten ye.
Dabi. Ye no dem.
There any oba ye kwe ever magina abonten ni dey mema mienu ye.
Yes.
How many times that be pie so mu mienu ye? It is all about circumstantial evidence that will lead to the conviction of those people. And what about her? It's a speculative.
Okay.
Near the nipa na kwa kujina ho, then we just convict them, throw them to prison. No more prison, they are not going to feed them.
How can I say? How can the crown man bed?
Abang the amomoka. In as much as we want to curtail a certain act, it is also more important that we ensure that the dictates of our constitution is followed.
Okay.
That is why the preamble of the bill even says, subject to the constitution. It's even an acknowledgement that there is a supreme law. And that supreme law is the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
Okay.
And no law can subvert or contravene the provisions of the Constitution. Lofty.
Who is the president of Romani Mama Obesan?
Mini is a bedroom for Obesan.
Hey, how sure are you?
Well, the president has given us an affirmation, so not there. He is ready and willing to sign, because it was just a matter of procedure. Because after the expiration of the term of President Akufo-Addo and the 7th Parliament, the law did not exist again.
Okay.
One assent in the bill, it did not exist. So it had to go through Parliament, go through the necessary processes and procedures. Some amendment, as it has been done, would have to be made. Then Parliament did to that the president would have said, now that Parliament I pass a bill on it. I know, you know the president. I know President John Dramani Mahama, a devout Christian, and I trust his words.
When any president can say, as a country, LGBTQ plus is not a priority.
Okay. Okay. So let us assess the statement of the president. Love to hear. What is the priority? The priority is to make sure that show will be very successful.
Yes.
The point is the priority. So as the president was speaking then, it was not a priority because it's not even, it has not even been passed by Parliament. How would it be a priority?
Okay.
Now the president cannot say it's not a priority
because he say you are
passing a bill on him. And that is when it becomes priority.
I catch you.
You get the point.
Okay.
So as of mine, I didn't that Parliament said you lay for some days, have to go through parliamentary procedures. Committee will have to sit, input will have to be taken. The House will have to pass it. Say a unanimous, so say by majority decision, they have to pass. Then the clerk of Parliament will transmit to the president. When you are infirm, why will it become a priority?
Okay. But
so now it is a priority. But then it was not. You pass away. As you call more company. Say, but company table so the president cannot tell that it's not a priority.
Okay.
You say they are passing a bill. Sani or assente a legal education bill and then one bill. No, assente, you know. Then the president will have to assent. And I know President John Dramani Mahama will assent to the bill and become a law. I am highly optimistic, 101% optimistic that the president
will landing. I don't say sure about the close of next week. Then what?
Yes.
I need to spend it 3 days.
3 days. Yes. So. I know by the expiration of next week it will become a law.
LGBT Munya campaign in the baby.
Yes. So now we fight them by our laws. I can assure you and I can confidently say, Sir, President John Dramani Mahama will not let this thing be on his table for long.
Okay.
He will pass it. So far, Parliament has passed it into law. I am only praying. So somebody will not go to court. Said the a course on Canino. Now you be jai. No man penino are sent here to
but was there any way an anchor from man penny that Nana Akufo-Addo Nanko betimi Sign manaba be yemra bra.
11 is na court no sign you. 11 act no.
Yes.
No court no sign you.
Yeah.
How was it different? Even granted say no court into a say he doesn't want to tamper with whatever will go on in court.
But
yeah, granted. Yeah, we a case in December 2024. January 2024, the president was still the president. Why didn't you assent to the bill?
10 years, Akoba saying, Mpoye, the Supreme Court, found in the Padodo at the Becono. President Mama ain't me detained is on sign.
For me, you see, in one of Tokunu's cases, Justice Yoni Kolendi Ekansembi say, generally, in civil matters, the filing of some processes like injunction and co, the filing itself and service thereon on the other party operates as an injunction to restrain you from doing that. However, when it comes to constitutional matters, it does not apply.
Okay.
You get it? So for me, so far as it is a constitutional mandate of the president, I do not think the filing of the process will operate as an injunction. I do not think so. Okay. Because then we open the Pandora's box. So baby or mampenyu then somebody will file the process. Yes, then I file a process. Then how do we govern as a country? So that's where I agree with Justice Yoni Kolendi. And I do not think so far now you're passing into bill now.
Supreme Court we
will pass it.
The president will
assent it. The president will assent it.
I know
the president will assent it.
We are oneness.
So now we are not then the enforcement of Umbrano will take its full course.
It is a bed says who will be with people I need more my be or social media you won't move videos now. You bet him for
the law cannot act retrospectively.
Okay.
The every law is prospective.
Okay.
And today they pass him that is where they know Mampenny be assent that is where the law can take effect. Now there will be a twam with the honor the yakwa to so more ye the speculation so more ye the
about your Bakubi offend a friend educator. Or not your Bema, why is a transgender was whatever, or no, the anyone say,
oh no, my
lawyer content and videos.
Miss Uncle for the
Twitter, yeah, friend SC, so I won't say educator or on one cause I crash that releasing the says videos be by Montian Bema, but why you want to saw about our new for the day, yes, animati. I think it will be crack and said, say, yet me. I pass him with president. Your sign we there. Educator was whatever. No, on your careful.
So now, sir, Omanpanina sent you na ebeyemra na yesha see earlier juma or my name. We ain't mean the previous videos and but if subsequent to the passage of the bill and assenting it into an act, sweet to say, or sign AABB, sir, that is where we can call it in question.
You better say we would and I knew.
So you have the burden to prove.
Okay.
You cannot just take somebody to court and say, I suspect you are because the law is that a multitude of suspicion does not constitute proof.
Okay.
Opa me we are seeing now suspect say kwaja preku for. It does not constitute proof.
Okay.
There should be an evidential proof to indicate say yes, this person is doing ABCD act. And to pa or the other to social media, no one now who say in it itself does not constitute proof.
Wow.
Unless you lead evidence to the fact say the person's act contravenes a section of the provisions of the act.
Okay.
Other than that, you cannot prosecute the person.
But don't you think Semra we are buying Superman as a bimu why be accuse you ye chi obi mu kromu an no yes an man bi kwa na ye bo mo ene sa na man so.
So you see, Emrano does not give authority to anybody to assault Obi based on the fact say you say oh yeah this person say and suspect is Obi all you can do is to report the person to the police. The police in itself will conduct the investigation. Well, police cannot just get up, take the person to court and say let me go and prosecute you because as soon as you say we chance so ye be a woman knows why will be intimate found court on that ground. They will have to investigate. So where there is that evidential proof now, it's just any pan IABCD and it contravenes a particular section of the act, then the person takes you to court and the person will have the burden of proving your guilt beyond reasonable doubt, and you will also have the opportunity to also disprove your guilt beyond a shadow of doubt. Then the judge will just give his judgment and see.
There will be more skit about social media, so share that dress to say Emma you are ban no address it be ma Emra no so tia sa de no ndi say no so so be den
sir address it say
otimi dress it so oba or ye be ma
for skit purposes
be or for skit be so be go kwa bontin no address it so oba.
So you see, in every criminal prosecution there should be what we call the mens rea and the octus rule.
Okay. So
far as the thing has manifested, you think is against a particular provision of the act. We as we speak, we all trying to act in the now peruse the content of the act. But so far as you think say Nipano IABCD are contravening a provision of the act, there should that requisite mental intent to also commit that offense. So that's why I always say that when it comes to criminal prosecution, it is not one way thing.
Simple, sir.
Unless the street liability offenses like that traffic offenses, well, traffic lights and yes, street liability offenses. No, there should be the manifestation of the action, and the person committing the act should also have the criminal mind, to commit the act. And yes, kids, if you can the purpose of education. Say the beya obi entimi. Let me give you a classical example which is very funny. One yenu ya omoye kuma wudi ni ade. Da bia wan say konfo ni sofusia. What wan say konfo bi adi sofu so nkunim da. Da bia ya na Yesu de na di.
Adi konfo ni de so.
So it tells you say it is to portray a particular act.
So the bia den nyame de ne be di.
Yes. So you cannot just, and that's why I like the amendment to the act. You cannot just call somebody and prosecute the person just because the person has done a skit and for the purpose of education. Probably ask yourself, did the person have that criminal mind to commit the offense, and that will result in his prosecution? Those things are matters that we will take into consideration when it goes to court, and that's why the person should be entitled to a lawyer, so that the person can disprove the evidence of the prosecution. And yes, there's no Nippon Kojina court to her. What about the court we now China to and not in the court crack. If you think that may be so, we'll say the person should not have a lawyer. Then there's no need taking the person to court. If you think I shouldn't have a lawyer, then take me to prison straight.
So I'm trying to say a child be no gay and a lesbian. Then you can refer as a lawyer.
I've defended people who are suspected to be. It's about their liberty. You see, it's about their liberty.
Okay.
And I always say that people should not misconstrue real lawyers.
Okay. That's the money boni bi am.
Aha, e buka money boni bi ni pana di boni no kra. Me kai say we ka ni pana ba no ka say wa kuni pa kra na mu de ma ho twa dem. You see, the state has the burden to prove the other about big. Okay. You also have the right to defend yourself.
Okay.
Share criminal prosecution e your mining in any nipa ba ko pe kun. Anything e ka say the republic versus or mining na nipa mo ya say 33 million or so say nipa ba ko pe na. So why should the person be defended?
Okay.
So for me, if somebody is arrested and co, it's about the person's fundamental human right.
Okay.
And I believe in the human rights of people. So why not? I will defend the person.
Okay.
But as to say anybody the home far it's up to the judge to decide.
Okay. Enche bia be pon na ye de dwumadi na ba wie and somewhere wo court no yentimi enwura court no nsem kan but meaning say de aba monte de ani di eche ni bi wo ho a ye de ani di eche kakra oro ana de na de wani di eche kakra meaning say untumi de no sa is it some boy forest mining ni we de meaning so de wani adi
yeah me de mani adi I've been
Drew stage ben was and say the better so or friend last witness be ban son bia Saturday no after that be judgment or whatever
chairman to me there no I am aware who to me cases near me
yeah.
So in one of them I'm aware say the prosecution or ma a close your case. Okay. So to me made an attempt to follow what we call submission of no case. So submission of no case thing in say prosecution born no call doing in area who defense no o ba be toto o lawyer ba be toto kwadu bofo no o mo adance fo na no.
Okay.
Nje o mo toto as o mo dance fo na no a emra ne kire say at that level there's what we call the establishment of primary facie evidence.
Okay.
Primary facie no NSA enseniani no who accused person who are new year was a wodema. For instance, yemfa bibi to say stealing. There are elements of every offense. So it is the responsibility of the prosecution to prove those elements. So stealing is say this thing is not yours, you have appropriated it and you dishonestly appropriated it to deprive the owner of the ownership of the thing. And if the prosecution is able to lead evidence to the establishment of all these 4 or 5 elements, then at that level, the person has established what we call prima facie evidence against you.
Okay.
Remember, at that level, it is not proof beyond reasonable doubt. There are schools of thought like Justice Yawapo in Republic of Michael Asari and Co. Those line of cases, who sometimes and Republic Alex, even Chachikata line of cases, who sometimes think say, so far as it's about proving the elements of the offense, what is the difference between that level of prima facie evidence and proof beyond reasonable doubt? But legally, we say at that level, it is to establish prima facie evidence.
Okay.
And you establish we are set one timia and not a submission of no case, you know. The court editum and auditum there at that level will be acquitted and discharged. Okay. So I know of Chamaun to me when my learned senior and the appeal could be filed submission of no case, judge and they went to an appeal, still there and so he has been ordered to open his defense, and I know he has called some witnesses recently. Now the former Western Regional Minister was supposed to testify. Yeah. I think that he mounted the witness but led evidence, and prosecution is sealing the mouth to continue with cross-examination. Yeah, follow. We wish him well.
Okay, after we know, Obetima say afraid another witness.
And then Obetima afraid witness to do be happy.
Nazania Obi Krom found Obetima confirm as a witness.
As to the
case in the corner anymore.
Is Obi a competent witness? But Mekan is saying the relevance of the evidence is here. Obi wa hwa ko fani ba wa be say okay somehow.
Because me the team come Bobby wa e bi mu ba ya omko abese ya say
Obi wa ko fani ba wa before wa be say okay somehow. So I always say the lawyers, you need to have conference with clients. Oh, when I say the evidence no wa fani to nchen. It is better for you to get 1 or 2 witnesses who are credible, who are reliable, whose evidence has weight and will also tighten your case for you than to have hundreds of witnesses whose evidence are just Waterloo.
So after we know the next thing be there.
Closing the case, and then the judge will order for addresses.
Okay.
Then judgment.
I better give many days. And I'm Rabbi and Sharon ni home master. It will be a close ne dia. then if a number of days you say
Nina for case Nina was decided at case management conference. And the case management conference, the judges need to make sure say Ube is saying Ube is how many hours and the back crosses each witness because we are used because at that level no obia the witness statement about if we exchange witness statement perusal witness statement and with the content of the witness statement and I have just opposed it with my case and how many minutes I made the back crosses witness A, witness B, witness C. So we do a case management. Some judges even has what we call a template. You record it and all the lawyers will sign. We are okay, baby. No, but you know lawyers and some of them are tricks. You case you are a question examination actually. Wow. To when I say future ka kebi or anima for upper coin be there first. But I know with Chairman to make cases definitely I know by the close of 2026 the case in baby.
Okay. My any legal education so I buy and I'm for me not ninja kwan because there when you breed and antentem na nya kwan ko na ko to adwuma die so you say makola no yetwem ene ho nhihye ya aba
makola me I am a student of the fact say the law school should not be preserved for particular people.
Okay.
You mu binom ba bia ye free no nanka kwanya bia ni ho se yebetimi akobi. So the fact that you are a lawyer does not mean you are better than somebody. And let me tell you, Lofty, on my reality, we are beneath of lawyers. We are bereft of lawyers.
Okay. Here more.
What we are failing to understand is a majority of the students who complete law school are not practitioners.
Okay.
Practitioners. Again, law is not only about litigation.
Okay.
The sky is so big. So me, I am proponent of the fact that yes, we should open, but the fact also remains you are working in a profession. It is the only profession in the world. The legal profession is the only professional. It was as we so. All other Juma Kabia is just a vocation. A vocation being a man for a.
Okay.
The only profession is the legal profession, but we should also not compromise with quality.
Okay.
I think when we get quality, the numbers doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's see how the current system will run. I've been here passing right now. Let's see how we run the current system. Let's give them time. But I know so this year, I am maybe this year and next year the law school will still run. Then we see how going forward.
Oh, after see a pass you know.
Yeah, you see, passing run and yes, passing you are now about Jumon.
Oh, but with the Attorney General back and where
there should be structures.
Okay.
Even the schools you are accredited to run the professional programs, how do you go through that accreditation? Because you need to get that oversight responsibility. There should be that accreditation, but there should be that bar council to assess the bar exam. So these are all structures that we need to put in place, and I don't think it can work this year. For that, I do not think so. I know this year they write the entrance exam to the law school. The next year,
I thought say next in the firma podcast say entrance exams in a trim.
Lofty, the commission of the process is not an exiting.
Okay.
Because the entrance exam will have to be written somewhere in June, July or so, because in October they need to go to school.
And I try to June.
Yes. And the workers are monthly fee until say we put structures in place now. So I think this year there will be the entrance.
Send me come in train. I'm on back on a bunch.
The NHS we are by exam no pass. If you have the opportunity, pass and go.
Okay. Yes, Uncle William men call me home, met train, and the young uncle my year.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. Because I and someone I can go my sumo and just it's a million and 10 hour no. Now, yeah, fancy. Young share in the national NDC buying almost or buy that's a 1 year, 5 months. How would you assess that?
I'll give ourselves like 76%.
The bill 4 years. Say to Abanam 4 years. After nature 1 year, 5 months. 76%. Lawyer. And then we are in this in the
No. You see, we have endured 8 years of severe underperforming governance. 8 years of hardship. You know, see, the sustainability of the economy itself, moving us from, you see, now, we are free, the junk status to be B minus or so.
Is it B plus?
B plus.
Yeah.
It tells us that things are being done right. Again, reality. One of the fundamental things that affects every individual as a man is the sustainability of your economy. Lofty, 2021 from 22, 23, 24, especially after COVID-19, taking advantage of COVID. Or minor poto na no my finance minister ti me awie no se o makrom ha bi
on ma bi
obo bra pan ko ma
oso mo ba mo bejo
who na jojo obo bra pa
mo be bu attention
why o man na tete apansam agya ne ho se kwa akote na obi man so why na ntina
oso mo ba mo be ye nti se kuramantan ya na
ya oden
ndi o ma
wow man you mubu o man
obiara tikuro
your koto spoke ni vehicle that on the doma
mukura muntimi na hwe
on ti kroma so ati ha
muntimi nya
enti eye den a onko a wose madwane and I think the president knows how how responsibility is here and he's touching every sector of the economy.
Okay,
let me give you this example before one kitten. I know of somebody who are unyabi. Nipa ni nyaye no. Uze nkokwan ba na o manyi kakra.
Yeah.
Nipa ni nyaye at the end of the day, enam de nipa ni nya free mu, nipa na start a poultry farm.
Wow.
Brothers na unya I think 40.
Okay.
Or within a space of 6 weeks. Na oton we no ene watimi akofa emaku 200 a wasa ase ono so enyom it served as capital.
Wow. Esma bronya na me wi o.
Yeah, it serves as capital. Enti yenhwe say nipa no ene gradually a time will come about getting into the poultry industry, which is a very lucrative industry.
Yeah.
And this is the president. Me mom, we dey help the KWAME Sunya had the Sunya outer ring rules. Look at ye bra panyin kofi cho bajuma awoye. Ye hwe Sunya Troni road. Ajuma ye wo kwan no so. I am just praying say me KWAME oduma se kwan no so ye be ya mama.
Yeah. Berlin top kwan.
Na me ka se mo ayo. Ya yo. Na sai no ha ju sika na fa.
Cha, ayi kra na block ayi na ye friend say cover to say then no na wo ho kwa no mo tutu
na me ka say e ka say na me ka say e ka say
mo gane ko mo kuru na dada
sa Dr. Bomi nkofo no mo ko
o manye
ye bom
kwan da so da ho kwa
ye bom pa ye so for me
sa kwan no de esasa mo ye o
sa kwan de yeah you see Sunyani West enye e ho nkwa ukọ nsu atira kwan enye ukọ kira kwan enye kra. It tells you anything that catches yes, don't use somebody 16 years to compare the 4 years of an abumele Santa Man choir.
Masakwan de here party mo catch on abu. Masakwan de Berlin top kwan mo anyam baba to you.
Minim say here because minim say on the 6th of December 2024. Time I made ba Berlin top any bocha dey share mo. I recall that incident. And I know that a choir. Yes, I know that a choir here pa. So Lofty, the president is doing incredibly well.
Okay.
Look at what happened in South Africa within a space of some few. They come back.
Yeah.
Let us establish these people. And I know by the 4-year term of His Excellency John John, it's a legacy term.
Okay.
And he knows it's a legacy term.
Okay.
And he wants to leave a legacy. And obekono yebekaino
ewie before me ma de wasem twato de aba no Masemtvgh so ye ko multi TV de boss so next month that is ochena nti ni say by the close of ochena ne ochina na ochide na yo multi TV so.
Oh, then congratulations. Congratulations. My basso. I mean, you are doing wonderfully well. You are doing very, very well. I think your mom pie say will sustain it. Na ensure biano. We will all ensure that Masemtvgh and we need to ensure the sustainability of it. So we are always available.
Okay. Last word. Camera ni. Last word.
Me camera ni. Na me and you may mention me Chrome Sunyana West for. Na me ka say I know Gidi Omunya or Honorable Malaysia Taman Choir Boa Moa yet to about the man. I have worked with the Honorable Malaysia Taman Choir Boa and I know she has Sunyana West at heart. I know by the expiration of the 4-year term, no, we will account to them, and the accounts now the good people of Sunyana West, no. And Puntu, I share Mubono, Yebinya, El Sunyana West Lofty.
Lawyer, Mammy does say to himself for our buy.
That's not
right. I had a Jumadina ABC, Mamenda Junior say on also to me, dear, quite live on Facebook and YouTube. MCR Babansu so Ebuama sound BBB also to me equals the technician on duty and no and our Richmond so Gina a camera chair or Timmy Chinchim at the May. Mama Kayina Joy comes when MCR on and so on also a Juma Ewo. Mediana Kwame fresh loft if you know Conoti and can but more there's also do business with my Briana, it's my bon de rule at the amount. His answer yeah transition from our Facebook the Ninja YouTube the Ninja TikTok no Ninja. But ye ba multi TV so enti ubetimi di advert na Brian na edu wa ya border wura wan kofo ati obi say Facebook ni YouTube bokura na nkofo ani di echi na nkofo hwe na de ba dege boss no so dia nema nyina ebe pin so media na kwame fresh lofty ori adomdom ya ye besen di ehia nyame nhira good night.
Important responsibility on us as African leaders. We must see health spending as an investment rather than just a social obligation, because a healthy population is indispensable to economic progress. As an advocate for African health sovereignty, I'm obliged to demonstrate this practically at home. And so in Ghana, we have moved beyond rhetoric to implement calculated, aggressive policies that place the citizen at the center of the clinical encounter. With one of the more successful national health insurance schemes in Africa, Ghana has an insurance coverage estimated at 66% as at the end of 2025. This still leaves about 34% of our population without coverage. Besides, the NHIS has been focused principally on curative care with very little attention to preventive care. To mop up the remaining population not covered by the NHIS, we have recently successfully begun implementing our free primary health care program.